I think while they're all coming, great, everybody's jumping on stage or being brought there. Pleasure to see you up here on stage. Hello. Have a seat, 2 of you to the right, 2 of you to the left, maybe. So if you give us a quick chance, and I think we let the ladies start by giving us an intro of what you're doing and what your attitude towards mental strength is and towards mental fitness right now. So Lisa, please take it away.
Sure. Okay. Hi, everyone. So I'm Lisa, and I work at Headspace. Headspace is one of the leading meditation apps. It's really big in the US right now. We have over 30 million downloads so far, and we are looking to expand into Europe and Asia, and soon. And I used to work at Spotify the last 7 years, and I started Headspace like 3 months ago. And I started at Headspace because I think mental fitness will be as important as physical fitness in the future, and that's why I'm here.
So you're healing in another mode. Thank you very much.
Sure.
So Sophia, tell us about you. What's mental strength in your career?
Yeah, hello, I'm Sophia. I'm 17 years old and I'm a racing driver. I'm currently racing in the Formula 3. I'm racing against boys or men, and that's actually also a big part why mental strength is quite important for me and also all other racing drivers. I started the sport when I was 5 years old, and yeah, I hope to get to F1 once and be world champion.
Thank you. Yes, applause. You can applaud. Yes, truly you can. So Felix, give us an insight, please.
I'm Felix. I'm CEO of Prime Mind. And what we want to do is that we want to enable humans to perform at their highest level. And I think you, Lisa, you already said it. I think the future is about mental fitness. And I want to be part of that. And that's the reason why I'm doing that.
Thank you for being here. So Xavier, last but not least, tell us about your business.
So hello, I'm Xavier. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Peak. So we develop smart games to keep your brain sharp. And we've developed the biggest brain gym in the world. Obviously, we really believe, everyone here, that you can train your body and physical aspect, but we are big believers in actually developing the mind. And we've built it's the biggest brain gym in the world, got more than 50 million users across the globe. We actually do use our applications to, from a prevention point of view, detections, improvements in cognitive abilities, memory, attention, reasoning skills. And it will be both for healthy and unhealthy population. So it's both for self-improvements. It could be for actually Formula 3000 drivers, but it could be also for anyone who wants to fight cognitive decline, just be at their peak, basically.
Okay, thank you very much. Welcome on stage. So Lisa, help us understand. I'm a surgeon. For me, life is very easy. Something is broken, we cut it open, we screw it back together, somebody can walk again. Very easy to measure success, to make it visible. What are the success examples that you see? What do you get as feedback from your customers?
So actually, Headspace started to do a lot of clinical trials around like how people actually feel after doing a meditation. And meditation is actually just a medium to get people in an aware state or mindful state of like being in the present. And like first studies are being published like very soon, but for instance, it can help like with reducing depression, reducing anxiety, but also making people more productive. And
you would see the success just quite as measurable as a surgeon's
so basically
success.
we are the first company basically doing these clinical trials with like over 10,000 people, and it has never been done like that before. So we see like a clearly trend that like training your mind is like able to help reduce stress, anxiety, depression, but also makes you more productive and more calm in your head, so to achieve better things.
So if you're raising productivity overall, you're doing good for the entire economy and for all of us. So we should be thankful, even those that are not using your app yet. Those should even be thankful for what you're doing. Thank you very much. So Sophia, help us understand. You said it's a matter of mind if you're racing against men or boys. I mean, I would say mentally, women tend to be much stronger than men. How do you see that, and why is mental strength so important for you as a race car driver?
Well, if you're racing against boys, you always have to like show them that a woman can also do it, because like, sorry to say, but men are quite stubborn, and like they think that women are not able to race a car fast. And yeah, you just need to drive out the respect, so they respect you and everything. But in the sport, you can actually win, or you can also be last, like 25th or something. And you need to like, I got rituals, like mental strength rituals, which I do before every race or before every test session, just so I feel comfortable. And if I don't do them, then it doesn't work. It's quite strange, but I got it in my mind, like I need to wash my hair every morning. I have to put on the right glove before the left one, and I always say 5 different words before I get into the car, since like 8 years. And if I don't do it, it doesn't work. And that's quite strange. And I think every athlete and also every race driver has like their rituals or like their mentally special things which they do, so it works out. And yeah,
interesting bridge between race car driving and surgery. Sometimes we get pairs of gloves which do not match, or which are not the right size, or they have production errors in them, and then sometimes surgery sort of gets run down completely and everything stops until the right gloves come in, and then we start again. Of course, for us, the gloves have a different sense, but I can totally understand you basically going through that. Is that sort of a prayer that you're going through? Would you say it has a religious component, or is it just your own mindset that you're setting up?
It's actually just my own mindset. It's quite strange. I still don't get why I do it, or why I think it doesn't work out if I don't do it. But I also don't want to try to not do it, because I know it's not going to work out. And it's just, I have it since 7 or 8 years now that I do it, and I don't want to stop doing it.
Okay, so we hope you remember all your rituals and it's all going well in the right direction. I figured for some of these things in your mental head, you sometimes you have your ideas that you need, and sometimes you have something that gives you luck or something like that. You keep bringing it to every test, to every exam, to every interview that you're going through, and it's all going well, and at one point you realize that you're going without your little luck bringer, and then it goes. So it could be that a couple of years down the road, we're sitting on stage again, you've won Formula One, I'm glad to be interviewing you, and you will say, well, a couple of rituals I'm still doing, a couple of them, maybe I forgot, or you would be even astonished.
That's
so
true.
I'm surprised on where it's going to head. Good luck on all of that. So Felix, on your profile online, it says you're spreading sunshine and thought. Where do you draw the energy for that optimism? When we talked, when you got introduced, I immediately saw that you're radiating a lot of positive energy. Where does it come from?
Very good question. Thank you. I think, first of all, I think we all are here to enjoy. And I really already made quite some experience in my life that I realized that it's not about reaching that goal, but it's way more about enjoying that process. And I think if you start to enjoy that process, then you automatically get more self inside. So you automatically try, okay, what is this body you have here? You know, what is this mind? And then I just started to go deeper and deeper, and also meditation at the beginning helped me a lot. So there I used Headspace. And now later on, I think I'm on the stage that I just try to feel as much as I can. And by that, I would say, gain more self-knowledge. So more clarity about what I want to do in life. And then out of this self-knowledge, also some kind of inner conviction. You said something about belief. I think belief is a big part of me in my life. I think that's from where the energy comes from.
And how can you bring that into your professional life? So how much of your personal positive energy radiates, or is it basically coming over into your professional career?
I think there are two parts. So the one part is, I think, as kind of a leader of a team, it's important to also radiate this motivation energy, you know, that kind of, for me, it sometimes feels a bit superficial, so like motivating people and, okay, set that goal, let's try to reach that goal. And so that's the one component. And the second component is for me, more that I know myself, and the better I know myself, the more I can accept myself. And then it's more this calm and this calmness and just being there. Yeah.
So basically finding your inner self, and you bring that across to the office.
Exactly. I think people realize quite quickly if you're authentic, and if it's just like the superficial layer, or is it your true self? And I try to get closer to my true self. I wouldn't say I'm there, but I feel I'm getting closer.
In the end, that's what life's all about, finding it. Huh? And in contrast to us, you don't need gloves, so be happy with that. Yeah. So Xavier, you told me you run the biggest online gym, if I basically understand it, or online mental gym. So if I look at it from that point of view, nothing on this planet could bring me to a gym. Why should I join your gym?
I think the biggest challenge, both for physical or mental gyms, is obviously it's a healthy habits, but it's hard. Like everyone wants to practice or to go through a diet. It's hard because there's so many interferences and opportunities not to do it. But what we've built with Peak and why we've got more than 50 million users who play with us like every day, it's because it's actually fun and engaging. And what makes us really make amazing products and have a lot of success helping a lot of people with a brain gym is really empowering gamifications. It's based on games, it's fun, it's a lot of depth and replayability to make sure people engage with it on a daily basis, because we know the power of games as engaging tools, and it's something you do on a daily basis without actually paying attention to it. It will be in your daily commute, in the bus, and you will be playing your 15 minutes per day to keep your brain sharp. You even might not realize actually you're improving your brain, but you will be doing 15 minutes of good for your brain, memory, attentions, problem-solving skills without noticing it. I think it's really the power of games for good in some ways.
Okay, and in a real gym, I can compare myself and I say, well, this guy did 15 sit-ups and I can do 20, so I'm much better. Is that the case in your setup as well? Can I compare myself to others, even anonymously?
Yes, you do. You can compare anonymously with actually all the players around the world if you want to. I would say we've got very different segment of users, and some segments actually do not want to share data at all, because it's kind of very personal information about how good is your memory, your attentions and reasoning skills. But actually some segment of users are very engaged in comparing and really showing who's the smartest in some ways. So really kind of compete into kind of head-to-head or leaderboards with all other smart people in some ways. And we've got like can compare data for every aspect of the games and scores, and we've got percentile data, and we've got some some users we provide like percentile data to granularity of 1%, so it could be in the top 1% for instance, and we've got some users who want even more granularity because they really want to see if they are the best in memory, attention and so on. And I think it was 2 years ago, we are London based, we hosted one of the first European memory challenge or competitions, and we had kind of the top 50 best memory minds in the world competing into kind of a Wimbledon type, open to show all the aspects of memory, and it has been just amazing to see what you can do. And something you can realize with these 50 memory champions across the world, they are like you and I. It's not that they started with amazing capabilities. It's really because they train their mind, they train their memory to remember and learn all these things. So it means everyone has the potential to do it. You just need the right tools to do it. And I think what we are working hard is to educate, teach people what the right techniques and the tools to improve your memory, attention, and so on. Because you will see these memory champions, they really started as basic knowledge, let's say, in memory as we have. But you can really see that in weeks, months, or years, you can really teach your mind, do things in a great way. So.
And what's the average age of the users that you have? Because I see memory as something that either children play or rather old people, but in between, people seem to be too busy.
The good thing, everyone has a mind, everyone wants to improve it, so it's not only about cognitive decline. Actually, our average age of the user is 32, so it means it's mostly active professionals that want to improve and be at their best. So it starts from, we have a very large range of users from, let's say, 15 to 80, and everyone wants to maximize their potential. The one piece of data I can share, maybe sad for many of us, if you look from a data point of view, from 50 million users, and you look at memory assessments, actually what is the peak in memory, at which age do we reach kind of max capabilities? It's actually 24. Which means that 24 onwards, it's a nice slowdown. But let's say every aspect of that life cycle, in some ways, you can maximize and optimize that. But let's say, at least for memory, I think the peak age in terms of memory and your capabilities in remembering things will be 24.
Okay. So luckily enough, you still have 7 years to reach your peak. So lucky you. I'm way beyond my peak already, which some people can see. This is why I need pieces of paper nowadays. So tell me, Mental strength. We've talked a little bit about what you do for yourself to prepare yourself. Is there anything you get like coaching, or have you asked for advice, or have you even used anything that these three ladies and gentlemen are offering? Have you used any games or any app or any professional solution, or are you in counseling with a psychologist or anything that I could imagine? Just give us a feeling on how you prepare.
To be honest, I had a mental trainer when I was 8 to 10 years old, because she was like helping me to focus and to like love what I do, and she was also like working out those 5 words, which I still use now, like 10 years or 9 years later. And last year now I have a mental trainer again, who's like also on the racetracks when I got races, and he's like, because in racing, it's quite strange, but if you have a crash in the first race and have to start from last in the second race, you're always so chilled and relaxed, and you're like, I can't lose anything, I just have to push and overtake. And if you start first on the first 2 rows, you're always so nervous because you put self-pressure on yourself, and because you want to finish on the podium. And it's quite strange, and you really, like, of course you always enjoy it, but if you put pressure on yourself, it always makes it even more difficult, and actually you should just like relax and chill and have fun what you do, and then it's gonna work out. And he's like helping me to do all that stuff, and to be honest, I don't use any of those apps or like apps. I just got like a...
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet, sorry.
After this you will, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
So mental training or like mental strength is very important in every sport, I think.
So help me understand, 8 to 10, at what age did you start race driving?
I started karting when I was 5 years old.
5?
Yeah. And my first races I had when I was 7 years old, and it was so cool because like a blonde small girl winning against boys, and they get angry and stuff, and I kept doing it, and now I do it since 10 or 13 years, and 12 years, sorry, and I still love it.
Impressive. Do you have an age limit for what you're offering? Is there an age limit in the lower size or in the upper size, or do you not even ask for the age of your users and customers?
The good thing is that our coach Elliot, he has quite a low voice, so there's no age limit.
Okay, so basically anybody can use it. What I would be curious, you said earlier, once you become member, so basically to the 3 of you, and you can answer in whichever order you feel like. Do all of your employees, all of the people you work with, do they all use it? And if so, is there sort of a transparency? Could you see, well, my secretary or my personal assistant or my team lead does this and that on my app, or does this and that on my platform? Can you see that? Can you judge that? Is there even internal competition building up?
Actually, every employee at Peak actually do play our games. We're also part of beta testers in some ways, because we do develop new games all the time. So they'll be actually our first kind of users and beta testers internally. Obviously, we kind of own leaderboard. I have to say probably the number one in the leaderboard internally at the office actually is the game designers, because he's the one we build the games, and probably the one we spend most time playing. But we do love games. We do have passion for building them and to have these games to have positive impact. But it's part of our day-to-day in some ways of playing and interacting with what we build on a regular basis. Because in some ways we craft it with love and make sure that the users that do use it also see for themselves. And I think the biggest, in some ways, reward actually the employees get is not actually by playing, but actually see the users play and see the benefits of what they are. I think it was mentioned for Headspace earlier, what type of feedback we get from users. And in some ways, it's not only about achieving the best scores, it's about actually changing lives. So it will be improving your life after brain trauma or brain injuries. It could be about helping someone in actually succeeding in their exams, and so on and so on. It could be actually fighting depressions. But it's really about the positive impact that all the use case that we build up are giving the world.
Okay. Thank you for that insight. How about in your work surrounding? What's the use?
Yeah. Basically, Headspace has like 2 meditations per day in the company, so everyone is joining at 10 a.m. and at 3 p.m.
Okay.
If they want to, if they have time. But we don't see what kind of meditations people are doing, because it's very private as well. You know, if you're doing a depression pack or an anxiety pack, I don't think everyone should know or wants to share that part of them. but you can see like minutes and sessions performed if you want to share that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I could basically share with the crowd what I've done yesterday, how I've improved my mind, how I've reduced my anxiety level and all of that, if I wish to do so.
Yeah, you could do that, yeah.
Okay. And in your setup, any competition, anything where you see sort of your co-workers performing?
So actually, not all of our co-workers using our app, and I don't think that's a bad thing, because I think that especially high performance is not about kind of this, that you have this external pressure, or I think the internal pressure you talked about. It's just about finding your own way. How you can perform in the long run. You know, so it's more about finding the right setup for yourself and really finding to yourself, and through that then having the energy to achieve your goals. And by that, we have some people who are using it and some using it not. So, yeah.
Okay. So you talked a little bit earlier about being a rare animal, so to speak, basically the only girl among a lot of boy drivers. That's something sort of people need to get into their mind, that this is happening more and more. Addressing you again, basically coming from London. In Germany, I think I have the strong perception that still somebody who has a mental deficit, who needs help, would rather not tell. As you pointed out, it's anxiety, it's depression, it's something that shows weakness. Whereas in the United States, you're bragging about going to 3 different shrinks, and one is helping you with your financial problems, one is helping you with your wife, and the other with the school problems of your kids, and so on and so on. And you're basically telling, well, I'm seeing a new shrink, and so on and so on. How do you see that mental gap? How is that in Europe? And is that a problem for your business model?
Yes and no. So we see some difference between US and probably Europe. So I don't think I see much difference between UK, Germany, or France, for instance. I think there's probably the notion of brain gym or brain fitness has been for a few more years available in the US. Probably you have seen more ads on TV and marketing and so on. So it's more like a common word. So there's a few years in advance. I'd say we're just behind, and I think it's all about education and showing the benefits, the positive aspect of what you could bring for everyone. So not too much concern from a business model is similar in US and in Europe, and yeah, I think we overall, as we've shown, we are #1 brain gym in US, in the UK, in Japan, China, across the world. So I don't think we have seen anything impacting our business model. And we've been able to adapt our products to most countries and languages. So I don't think that's been an issue. So.
But do you see a large difference? So is this being reflected in geographic difference in the adoption rate?
I think we got a greater adoptions UK and US for 2 reasons. For UK because this is where we come from, and you get a bit more visibility and PR and articles about us. So in some way we got more presence in some ways in the various channels. But I think US because US is more in a kind of penetration market share, but it's because the notion of brain fitness is a few years in advance. So I think it's probably a concept that you start hearing more in UK and Germany and France and across Europe. But yeah, I think it's just a few years in advance. But 5 years from now, I think it will be more like a common thing that everyone wants to improve their mind in the same way that they do improve their physical aspect. And I think we have similar challenges from mindfulness meditations to kind of brain training. It's all the holistic approach about improving your health and well-being. I think we've got similar challenges to go through. So.
Okay. Basically going the step from well-being to therapeutic approach. You were nodding earlier when I said it's stigmatized in Germany if you have psychological problems. So it basically has a negative connotation. How do you see that, and how is that a barrier to your business development?
Basically, I'm trying to find out if it's a stigma. So, and I'm going to change the product accordingly. So maybe having a really different approach than we have in the US for Germany, France, and Spain, and all the other countries. Like, for instance, like going into mindfulness and making people meditate via a different approach to it. Like, for instance, looking into relaxation more, or like mindful living, or maybe sleep, something like that. And then guiding people's way into a more relaxed mindset. But yeah, I agree. It definitely exists.
Okay. Do you see any challenges specifically in the German market where you would say it's not that easy to enter the market, it has a negative connotation? For example, when you go to a dinner party and you explain to people what you're doing job-wise, is that difficult for people?
Yeah, sometimes I experience that for sure. I think, for example, I often use the word mindset coaching, so which is in America, everyone knows what it is. So in America, I feel that there are many people, they are already on that level of awareness, that they know how important mental fitness is. And I often feel that there in Germany, we are a bit behind, but I hope also through new mobile applications, and then we are getting some momentum on the market, and I think we can switch that. Yeah.
Okay. So looking at international comparison, here everybody thinks race driving is something for boys. How is it when you're racing in other countries?
To be honest, because I raced in England when I was 14 years old for 1 year, and it was crazy. Like, the fans loved me, and they were like, yeah, the German blondie is coming again, and it was so much fun. Also in Italy, they are quite good actually. They like it, and I think it's because it's something special, because there's like 100 of boys or men and just 1 or 2 girls racing, and you always like, even if you're last, you're always like, yeah, she's a girl racing. And of course, there's some people as well who say, yeah, you're not gonna make it, and it's a sport for men and stuff. But the most, they say, yeah, you're gonna do it and you can do it. Just keep pushing. So to be honest, like till now, every country is like, yeah, just believe in yourself and do it.
Okay. Very interesting international insight from the position of a female race driver. So talking about stigmatizing, we were earlier talking about barriers that are raised or barriers that make it difficult. On the other hand, it's much easier to use your app than actually see a psychiatrist or a psychologist physically. So how is that an advantage, and how are you entering that market, and how are you promoting the mental strength norm or the mental strength values that you're trying to push to your clients or customers?
Yeah, as you mentioned before, like meditation is still very stigmatized. So basically, step 1 is like normalizing meditation, basically going away from this hippie thing to make it like a normal thing. And we try that to basically do a lot of clinical trials and like a lot of science studies that basically take it away from being more a psychic thing to a science thing. And we try to promote that. And so people can use the app more easily, but and try to find ways how they can train their mind. But I mean, I think probably if you suffer from real depression or anxiety, and if you need to see a therapist, that's probably a little bit better than trying to therapy yourself.
Yeah.
But definitely this Headspace app can help you as a supplement therapy to seeing like a psychiatrist to fight depression and anxiety.
And is there sort of emergency warnings in your app if I'm sort of hitting a couple of things and going the wrong direction? Would the app detect, or would it tell me, look, you need to see someone now because you're more serious than anything your smartphone can solve for you?
So what's very funny is like Headspace has like a really awesome customer support, and funny-wise, like a lot of people are reaching out, especially if they are reaching these type of points, and then also almost the customer support is like a psychological service and like basically sending people to seeing a psychologist. Yeah, that happens quite frequently. So, but we have to be very careful about this and have all the responsibility for this.
And how are you being seen by the psychiatrists and psychologists? Do they start recommending working with you, or are they like, this is going to disrupt my business model and I'm trying to stay away?
They're actually super supportive, because Headspace helps you basically train your mind, but just how to achieve mind shifts, what you actually learn in therapy. And it's a really awesome supplement therapy to like a normal therapy. And it's not only for people who are actually sick, right, or like who are mentally ill, but also for normal people who want to train their mind and just be in a general, more happy mood in general. But a lot of psychologists are actually recommending Headspace. And we're currently in the process actually to FDA approve Headspace, so therapists can actually prescribe it as a therapy. In the US first, and then coming to Europe soon.
So basically your dream come through would be a reimbursability, so that basically the insurance company would pay the patient to use it.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's basically your long-term goal.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So, would you say you're replacing some sort of training that's happening right now? So would you say people can throw away their memory that they physically have at home, or they can stop doing crossword puzzles or crossword riddles in the newspaper? Or who are you disrupting with your approach?
So actually for everyone, I don't know if everyone plays Sudoku or crossword. Maybe you can raise your hands. It's, okay. There's a few. There's actually two reasons why it's actually much better than Sudoku and crosswords. First, it's actually much more targeted. When you play crossword Sudoku, you just train the same thing again and again. Here we get the opportunity to have a range of games that train specific area of the mind. So that from a specific type of memory, it could be sort of visual memory or working memory, it could be specific attentions level. So it's very targeted to specific cognitive functions. We're actually doing crosswords for 10 years. You will be training only the same thing again and again. And the other part is, to see effectiveness, you need to be dynamic difficulty. So if you do the same crosswords, it's actually not personalized to your levels. Maybe very easy ones, maybe very hard, but you're not training at the optimum level. To be similar to the gym, and you will be doing the weight too low, you will be the weighting too hard. It's not the right training that you would expect. I'm sure if you see all the people behind us, it's about optimize and workout and dynamic difficulty and personalizations. And it's exactly what we can provide for people who want to train their mind. So I would say probably stop Sudoku and crosswords and start engaging with something which is more targeted and personalized to see more effectiveness. Yeah.
How do you see that? Where do you see your success rates, basically your success examples? And also, who do you think would you replace in the modern world if everybody would be using your application?
I think, therefore, I need to explain a bit more what we are doing exactly. So meditation is all about that we stop this internal dialogue, so that we kind of shift from our rational thoughts into more this feeling part. Yeah, and that's where meditation ends. So meditation is, okay, you just want to stay in that feeling as long as possible. And then by that also gain more clarity somehow. And now what we are doing is that we are also using this meditative state of mind. So we have this meditation techniques. And now we add to that kind of hypnotherapy and visualization techniques. So we visualize our future self. So we try to break down subconscious barriers and all the things which kind of block us to really live our potential. And especially in this market of this hypnotherapy and visualization techniques, there's not much on the market yet. So I would say there we don't replace much. And the more we go into that niche, it's easy for us. But the more we go into this kind of mainstream meditation niche, of course, there's Headspace, there's Calm, there are many big players already.
Okay. Can you share with us maybe one success story where you say, okay, we've really helped that person, or this person shared with us that he or she is doing much better since they started using what we're offering?
Yeah, definitely. So we have one really big success story. So it's from my co-founder. He's Fede Holz, and he's one of the best poker players in the world. So he's 24, my age, and he already made more than 20 million. And he worked together with Elliot, who's also co-founder at Mindset Coach. And I think that is the big success story. But that's not a success story, it's why we do what we do. So it's more really those smaller success stories. For example, 9 months ago, there was a huge hurricane in Middle America. And then I think 4 weeks after that, we got one support email. And just the user thanked us that he said, come on, I lost my home, I was homeless. There was no electricity, there was no internet, and the only thing he had was our mobile application, and he used it like twice a day just to kind of get through that period of time. And when we read that in the team, it was like, okay, everything we did was worth it. And I think those are the success stories which are why we do what we do.
I'm going to use the app now.
What does that say again?
I'm going to use the app now.
Yeah, so I think that convinced me, that's for sure. So in medicine, we always say, give the patient something to hold on to. We need to give the patient something, either a physiotherapy plan or the goal, yes, you're going to be operated in 2 weeks, or yes, you can start running again in 2 months or something like that. Here we have a huge crowd of potential customers and of potential patients. What would you like to give them for their path? And you all have 3 sentences only. 3 sentences only. I'm still judging whether I'm going to start on the right or on the left-hand side. So here I see someone, yes, taking a deep breath. So it's starting on this side, yes? Just 3 sentences that you would like to give to this wonderful audience. in terms of mental health, what is your insight and what would you like to share with the audience to take home from this panel? It's like on the, you know, on the penalty shots at the soccer, we give them a couple of seconds because it raises our level of attention. So whenever you're ready, you can kick the ball.
Yeah, I think what I wish for all of us is that we gain the strength and also this courage to let our heart lead us and kind of to come to a level of understanding that our mind just follow seamlessly. I think this is what helps me most in my life, that I try to shift from my rational thought first into my heart, that my heart leads me, and then that the mind has the clarity to just follow seamlessly, I think.
Wonderful. Think with your heart. I think that's worth an applause. So, Sophia, beyond the glove, not everybody needs a glove to work, but you see, that impressed me quite a bit, and I'm going to start thinking about that. What's your 5 cents or 3 thoughts for the audience?
I think it's just about believing in yourself and believing in what you're doing and what you love to do. So really just focus on what you want to achieve in your life and try to work hard every hour, every day, every week. And yeah, it's just about self-love and self-confidence, I think.
Thank you very much, Sophia. So,
maybe my takeaway, so actually the brain is the most important organ in your body. So think about your brain in the same way as you think about your body. And today start something new. So if not engaged with Peak, with Headspace, with any of the applications or new products mentioned today, start something new and see for yourself.
Last but not least.
But in addition to what all others said, most importantly, just don't take yourself too seriously and have fun in life. That's the most important thing.
Okay, I think to sum all these 4 up, it's relatively cool because we have a takeaway booklet for all of you. Think with your heart, believe in yourself, start thinking about your brain, and don't take yourself too seriously. I think that's a wonderful key takeaway message. It has been a big, big pleasure with you, with 4 really different insights. It was a big pleasure to see this audience, very calm, still listening, all very focused, all mentally on our level. And I thank you very much for the audience and wish you a wonderful rest of the FitTech Summit. Thank you very much.